This is station WNMP. And this is where I learned the real value of making notes. This is my notebook. I'm pretty proud of it now. And it's become a good friend to me. You know why? Well, did you ever ask questions like, what's the assignment? Where did I read something about Joseph Lister? What book are we supposed to read for literature? Well, I used to ask questions like those. Now I look in my notebook. You see how it's organized? A section for each class I have. In front of each section, there's a page for assignments. And then, behind that, the notes on each day's class discussion and reading, beginning with the first day that I took notes. That's a long time ago. Don't look at these notes. Here, these are better. You can see how I'm beginning to organize my notes and make them easier to read. They're good notes now. And here's the story of how they got that way. It began at WNMP. Eddie and I visited the station to prepare a report for the class on news broadcasting. Boy, was it interesting. Eddie kept busy taking notes. And the next day, in class, and it sure was interesting. We saw a lot of interesting things. We saw the control room and the studios and the newsroom. You know, I wish that you all could see it.
Wasn't he supposed to make All right, Eddie.
On our trip, we had a chance to go behind the scenes, to actually see how a news broadcast is organized. As you know, the announcer reads from a specially prepared script. But what goes on behind this script? In one room of the studio called the wire room, the teletypes are constantly busy, bringing in news bulletins from the various wire services. WNMP has 2 of these.
How did he remember all that information? How did he organize it so well? Could it be the notes on those cards? Well, I began to wonder about notes, to wonder whether they would help me. Look at Jane. No notes for her. Would she learn by just listening? And Jim, he looks as though he's trying to write down every word. But Mary took notes in a different way. She would listen, think, and then write. Would she learn more that way? Would notes really help you learn? Well, I got my answer when Eddie finished his talk.
Are there any questions? Yes?
You said there are teletype machines, blank, 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 from the wire services. I missed the middle part.
Well, Jim, I don't recall exactly what I said, but the teletype machines are going all the time, bringing in bulletins from the news services. Yes?
Do the announcers work with the writers in preparing comments on the news?
Well, some of them do, and some prepare their own scripts. Yes?
How did they get the news?
Didn't I just cover that?
Well, there it was, as clear as anything. No notes, not much learning. Well, if you try to copy down every word, well, you don't get the ideas, do you? But if you make notes, outline the key ideas, that's the way. Taking good notes helps you understand and remember what is said. And that meant to me that I'd have to start taking notes. I was sure going to need some help, though. Well, Eddie had good notes. Maybe he'd show me the way he does it. We went to one of the library conference rooms where we could talk without disturbing anyone. Well, we had a new reading assignment for that social studies course. But before he got into that, Eddie went back over his notes on our class discussion, what I'd said and what he'd said. They didn't look like much. Eddie showed me, though, how he used abbreviations to save time, and how the notes were a little disorganized because the discussion was a bit disorganized. But in a few minutes, Eddie had those notes in shape. Rewriting them that way gave him a neat, permanent record of the discussion and helped him remember it. Reading the notes, I began to remember more, too. Now, what's this? There was the reading assignment, all written out. No mistakes about what to read or when. But as we got into that reading assignment, I noticed Eddie wasn't making notes. He read all the way to the end of the chapter. And then he paused a minute, thinking through all he had read. He kept talking about remembering the purpose of your reading. Purpose of your reading. Oh, yes. To find the effect of the Federal Communications Commission on radio news broadcasts. All right. I read with that in mind. And do you know, the important material just stood right out from the page. Well, I could see then how to find the important ideas in reading. But just what do you write down? Eddie showed me. FCC licenses wavelengths. Renewals every 6 months. Yes, finding and recording the important ideas in your own words. That's what note-taking is. Remembering your purpose is one way to find those important ideas. There are other cues to use in reading, too. Watch for bold type headings, summary sentences, numbered lists of items, for they tell you what the author thinks is important. And these cues helped Eddie plan out his notes. So I made up my mind to remember my purpose and to watch for cues, both in reading and in listening. For the same thing works well in class.
So we see that radio broadcasting is controlled in 3 ways. By the public, by the sponsor and the station management, and by the government through the power...
Yes, it worked. By listening with purpose in mind and by following cues, I was able to pick out the important ideas. And the sub-ideas just fell into place. Then, later, when I had a chance, I rewrote my class notes in permanent form. Yes, my notes were beginning to be complete and better organized and more useful. Whenever I needed to review my work, whenever I had an exam to prepare for, I'd bring out my notebook, and it was a lot easier than before. I've found, too, that I remember more, even without referring to my notes. So there it is, my notebook. I fixed it up a bit to make it neater, better organized. So now it's a book I'm proud of, a book I'm glad I have. Well, that's the story. Notes have made a difference for me. And they can for you, too. Make a note of that, will you?